Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tender. It's Monday the January 8th already. We're moving right along. Thanks for joining. I do appreciate you being here. If you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Tender logo and subscribe. Thank you all for so much support that we've had with all these likes. Keep it up. Let's get all this information out to everybody that we can. We're going to go through SPY on the monthly time frame, QQQ, and we'll check out BITO, the Bitcoin ETF, and NVDA. I think they're all kind of playing off of each other, with the Bitcoin news being delayed until Wednesday for the spot ETF. I do think we're kind of making this breakout, which makes a scenario that we get a slight new high on the markets, not necessarily all of them, but possibly the Qs. So we'll check them all out. We'll go down to multiple time frames, down to the 65 and maybe even the VIX as well, just so we could be keeping an eye on some of those indicators that will lead us to a reversal to the downside. Still looking for that downside play, but we have to respect the breakouts that are happening. And so let's dive into it. All right. We have SPY on the monthly time frame. You see this consolidation area that we kind of broke out of, where we're still above it. Not going to look at a whole bunch of things on the monthly, just for you to notice that we still have this peak here that so far a double top. Can we slightly get above it and grab all-time highs? Yes, and then we'll change our Elliott wave count, but we'll visit that later. Now, just on my oscillators here, we do have negative divergence here on the monthly time frame on the RSI, but technically, we haven't crossed back over on the bear side, even though we're forming negative divergence on the MACD as well. The slow stoke is still, we're heading to the upside, so we have a little bit of momentum on the long term. Now that could be ending already, so we're not going to put a whole lot of weight into this. Just know that we're just not in a crash state as of this moment. We could be clearly in a few days, but let's go over to the Qs. Now in the Qs, we have this huge wedge from the 2000 peak here. I don't think we're going to revisit that top up there, so I wouldn't get that exuberant. I'm really looking into the daily in the a few days to, if we do make a new high, to possibly maybe get a reversal on the weekly coming up or so. So let's continue to look on. So we made our breakout here at 388, still above that, and still a double top scenario, even though we made slightly new highs. Just an inside candle so far. Nothing to really view on here. Now here's the big one. Here's NVIDIA on the monthly time frame. We have this trend or channel, possibly. I do have the channel here, got back above it, but we have the channel top here. We didn't quite get to that channel top. We didn't need to, but I talked about this months ago, and we could with this breakout reach the 5,600 area, possibly 550. Likely this week. We're making this huge monthly breakout so far. I could draw a little bit of a line here to show what I'm talking about. So we're breaking out. If something changes on the monthly candle and we have a wick headed down, then that'd be certainly a fake break, and we'd be extra bearish on NVIDIA. So we have so much time left in this month. We'll see what kind of scenario we end up with. If we end up with a big wick, it would be because we would sell the news. Everybody's buying the ETF, the spot ETF for Bitcoin news, and NVIDIA clearly is used often for their high-end processors, high-performance processors. But we're in this range for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. and now we're making a breakout. That could be quite the intense move, in the next few days. I believe the decision will be made on Wednesday, and Wednesday could be a catalyst to spike up even more before a turnaround. We'll be checking those out. Now, on the oscillator, the different oscillators we have, still very, very bullish here on NVIDIA. We do have a divergence now, just made today as of this breakout for the RSI. So we're kind of in the same situation as the Qs now, except NVIDIA would be leading this. Now, I didn't set up my BITO charts, but we'll take a look at the monthly anyway, just so we can get a view. Clearly, when this came out, it was nothing but bearish. So, in my opinion, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave moved down, and I think we're just retracing that. So, at this point, I don't think we're going to make new highs here. I don't think that's the point of this video. I just think we're just now coming into this 382. Maybe with some news, we can just sprint up to the 26 or possibly even 31 if this is a kind of blow off move with the ETF news. So we're at that 382. Get above there, and then I think it'll be a quick shot to the 50%, and that would be the zone between here for the next move to the downside. And I do think this would be a 5, 3, 5 zigzag to where we could start to enter into BITO for the long term. Much lower though. Okay. On the weekly time frame for SPY, let's change our board here. We'll try to keep this pretty quick. There's just a lot of cool information we have here. So we're looking at this massive move here, and again, we had a fake break just like the top up here. We had this nice consolidation area that we broke out, couldn't hold, and had a fake break down low. Very similar. This situation, we got down into there, and right now we're trying to get back above. So really, can we get above this 473? Now it's the zone, so this 473, 474, keep that in mind. We did talk about that in our last video, so it's only a few points away from there, and so far we have an inside week. So I don't know if we're going to make a new high in SPY. We constantly said that this is our high here. It's a good high. Do we make another one? Possibly. I'm still playing. I still have my short swings, and we're still playing this as if our high is in. So just taking a quick look at my options tender set of oscillators. We have our MACD with the bearish divergence here. Also the RSI with a bearish divergence, and we're getting a crossover. This is super important on the slow stoke. So this is where we really are putting our emphasis on the weekly time frame turning around, and that should give us our nice start to a deep retracement. It's just this real short term, we're kind of heading to the upside. So along with that, a little bit of tailwind from the monthly time frame. So let's go over to the triple Qs. And we won't reiterate this, what's happening up here. We'll just kind of look at that oscillator real quick. And same thing, bearish divergence all over the place and making that crossover. That's a sell signal, you guys. This is a perfect sell setup, and this would be a little bit longer term, so you have time to get those swings in. We have this this rising wedge here. We didn't touch the top of it, so the Qs with this Bitcoin information, the Qs could possibly be a lot stronger, especially with NVIDIA charging its way up to get maybe a new high here without the SPY included in it, with or without. So at certain times these can diverge and make new highs in one of them, and the other not making new highs. So we'll have to keep watching, but this looks pretty strong, and with some individual names that are strong. I'm long on Tesla, I'm long on NVIDIA, Google, and Apple. So all those that they look like they're going higher. All right, so let's move over to NVIDIA on the weekly time frame. And we can see, again, this breakout area here. Just a beautiful move. We were in NVIDIA last week, just into Friday, and we held on to it till Friday, and we got out of it at that point. So we didn't know that we would get a new high here, but clearly getting a breakout. So again, have some room to run. We'll look at some targets on the shorter time frame. So make sure you stick around. There's a bell you can hit if you want to get the notifications from these videos. We try to do these videos as often as possible with any new information, so it kind of reads as a story as we do these videos, where one video links into the other. So don't be afraid to reference back to, like, Friday's video or beyond in order to connect the dots on these. So we have our breakout here. That's the point of this video, and it could pull the Qs with it. With the volatility and size of NVIDIA, it can definitely pull the kind of weight that such as Apple could do. Now, if you get them all together, then that's a whole nother story. So let me see if I'll just look at the indicators. The indicators, you have some divergence heading here, but we're trying to cross back over in the MACD. That could cross back over and still get a lower high, but everything looks really, really strong here going into this move. So I don't think the fake break is on the table quite yet, but we'll be watching just in case. BITO. Whoops. Sorry about that. We don't do any editing on these videos, so what you see is what you get there. On the weekly time frame, looking at BITO again, I didn't set up these, but you could see this clear 5-wave move down. That would be an impulse wave heading to the downside, and we're looking for a retracement. And we'll just kind of, let's see if we can draw something here. Now, that would be some sort of wedge that we got going on, but we're breaking above that, so that doesn't look to be holding. We're breaking out at this point, but yeah, let's you see this consolidation area here. We're getting above there, so we have another breakout at this point. So looking good on BITO. We are long BITO as well. I do think this continues higher. Let's go back to SPY. APY. Wow. All right, D. Let's go. On the daily time frame, trend is our friend. Remember that. And the reason why I say that is we are trending. We're getting above that 8 EMA. We're trending to the downside for a minute. If we are getting above, we are kind of back testing this fake break from the wedge. So we're almost to that point where we're getting back into resistance. We get above here, and then we have a pretty solid chance. This is a consolidation area that we're not really leaving. We broke down fake break, and so we could hit the top of that area. With this being so strong from NVIDIA in the news and the Bitcoin ETF, I do think it's possible, quite possible, we could be a little bit stronger on this push and this retracement back up to the 475 possible area. So we're back above that 8 EMA. We're getting above the 20, the rising 20. So far it's looking pretty good. I will be looking for a lower high, but anything's possible at this point. But we're going into Wednesday with this strength. So that would be kind of our point where I do think it'd be sell the news. We'd have CPI going into Thursday morning before the bell. So Wednesday's kind of our last trading day to be strong in a sense. And we'll be looking for some sort of reversal into Thursday, possibly. With these indicators, we started to go long because of the lower time frames, including the daily. We got to oversold territory in the RSI. We do have our bear signal here on the MACD. But if we do make slight new highs on SPY, you know, we're just going to create another bearish divergence here, and then we'll be watching the slow stoke. This should be well into a range, either making a lower high, or we should get to the oversold area on this on these indicators as well. So we'll be you know, tactical about all of this, and just know that when we say that we're going to be getting new highs or retracing and things like that, you know, especially when you're going into like CPI, for example, we're going to have protection on. Right now we have put swings, and we're going long in the short term to protect those swing positions, and it's been working out like a charm so far. So we got back above the resistance area, and now we have a first gap close. We have another gap that we could possibly close here. We're moving kind of straight up at this point, so I would imagine we get some sort of consolidation, whether it be time or price, before heading over. Tomorrow could be more of our doji type day, being turnaround Tuesday, and then continue our trend day until Wednesday for this next move. So individual names can still run, but I think the market might just need a little bit of a pause. I don't think that's the case for, if we pull up these indicators for NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA might just in BITO, those might just move straight up. But we're starting to get the buy signal here on the daily time frame. We're getting the bounce off to oversold areas. Again, if we make new highs, we could get another bearish divergence here. Now, looking over to NVIDIA, this is going to be our leader here. So we're going to reference NVIDIA kind of a lot coming up here. This one, if you look at our trend indicator, the 8, not only did we break out, we're above that 8 EMA. We'll be watching that carefully as we navigate to the upside. We had that flag type area. We broke out of the flag, back tested right into our green zone here. That was our buy zone. So we've used that a couple times. We had a couple sells as well, and that was a flag here. We're breaking out, and just a nice big move. And these moves can be pretty relentless, similar to this one here, to where you can just continue. I think this might be more of a blow off top instead of just a consistent move to the upside. I think this one might get just as similar. We might end up 10% on the day. We might end up with an equal move tomorrow, perhaps. This is just such a huge move. And if you take this measured move from this channel, you could either just use a straight trend line, or I like to use the Fibonacci extension. So you pull out your Fibonacci extension tool from bottom to top. That would be our measured move, and then from the breakout point, and we'd have to pull this down here to see the 100% move right here. Let's get rid of the other references around it so we could see the number. So this purple dotted line, that's just about that 600 area. And you notice that that's right with that trend line up here. With the blow off top, we can easily get to that point this week, especially with the ETF, if it's done pre-market or aftermarket, and we really gap up higher and gap and go. We could reach, really, it sounds almost impossible, but 600, nearly 600, almost 100-point move from the breakout zone here. So just keep watching. I'm holding on to these calls here. I'm not going to get out of the calls anytime soon, unless or until Wednesday. Wednesday will be when I'm looking to get out to see what happens with the price action, possibly even taking profit on the way, but changing them to more like lotto calls into the 600 area, see if we actually reach that and hold on to some of the profits as we continue to move. Okay, let's go to BITO on the daily time frame. Daily trend is our friend. We had some negative divergence. We're doing it again here. We're just moving. Nothing much more to see here. We just have this consolidation area over to the left. We're getting into that area, so the natural thing to do would be to test the top. A lot of times a midpoint to the top of the zone, which would be around that 28 area. So that would be 26 would be our first target, 26, and then to 28 and above there, if it can keep going. So far, we've just been relentless, continuing to move to the upside. Okay, now we're going to get into just a little bit more detail with the SPY and the 65-minute. Ignore this so far. We'll get into what we think is going to happen when we start to head to the downside. It's very important to know where our target is, and I do think it's going to be this green area in this uptrend line. But let's focus on what's happening right now. So I have this somewhat, it looks kind of like a flag, but it's more of a channel of where I think this price should look. We might need to get some consolidation or something here first, just a straight up move. But after we had this falling bullish wedge, we said this could possibly still be a wave 4. You know, and there's even a way that we can count this as a wave B if we want to make new highs. We go to make new highs and get the all-time highs, then we're gonna recount this as a B wave, and then getting new highs. So we're not unaware that this is looking pretty strong on some of the big names here, but this would be our reversal zone that we're looking for around the 474. I mentioned that on the monthly time frame, and it can still go just a little bit higher if we need to reference the closing the gap at 475. It'd also be equal with our left head and shoulder situation. That this, again, if we consolidate a little bit more, head up here, that would be our objective short. We'd be net short, with in mind that we have the Bitcoin news and CPI on Thursday morning. So Wednesday headed into Thursday. Want to keep that in mind and keep some call lottos as sort of a hedge to our downward swings. That's all we're doing right now, is protecting our downward swings, because whether we turn here and head lower or make it higher and then head lower, either way, we're going to be adjusting into these swings and profiting off of some of those call plays. QQQ. Well, let's go over to the Elliott wave. So that 474 area to the 475, that's our zone that we're looking for, a 1-2 setup and heading lower. Notice that 382, where this possible wave 4 here is. We can move that wave 4 down here because we're still in that zone. It still makes sense to be a wave 4 and then heading higher. Going to the Qs, not the 4 Qs. Let's do the 3 Qs, triple Qs. Again, we have that possible, if we just blow off top here, if we want to get just a little bit higher, we can test the top of the wedge one more time before heading lower. I would have to think about how this is a 1, 2, 3, possible 4, or really what we would do is count this all one move, and that would be a 5, 3, 5 before heading higher. And believe me, there's other ways we can count this. Even if we get our reversal, a 3-wave move down, we could still go test up. But we're going to have to kind of count on our indicators and things like that. So we're really getting overbought here in the lower time frames, even though on the daily we actually have the slow stoke that could oscillate to the upside. So we still have room to go. It appears to the upside. We might have a little consolidation, seeing how we're just getting so hot on the indicators. But yeah, it's still looking bullish on the momentum to get us just a little bit higher and kind of an overbought territory on that as well. Going to NVIDIA. NVIDIA, again, that's same kind of situation. Just getting really overbought here, but it could keep. These are just conditions. There we go. Tesla's making a move here. Maybe we'll take a look at Tesla. But what I want to point out on this is our breakout zone here at the 500 mark. After that breakout, so we could do two things with this. We can count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move as a 1, and just a really small wave 2, and 3, and some sort of 4, and then 5. So I think what's happening here is you could count this as a high right here, but with the momentum and the breakout, I don't think that's the case. What I really think is that this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then we're getting a wave 4. And we'll continue up for another wave, and then we'll have 2 more sets of 4, 5, 4, 5, but heading much higher. Okay, so just to be clear, this could possibly go all the way up to, you have your 618 here at the 535. We have 550 above there, and then we're looking clearly all the way up to 600. But what I mean is, after you have this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, then you have to have the threes. All the threes play out, and I think this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get a full 5 wave move up for 5, however long that's going to be. And then get another consolidation for 4, get a whole nother wave 5 consolidation, and the last move. I think this is a blow-off type top, so this could even accelerate even more at this time. You get this crunched up move, and it's started to expand, and this could start to accelerate with all the news coming up ahead of it. So don't short NVIDIA. In other words, if anything, ride it. All right, so making new highs of today. We had a little consolidation. I still think this has a really small 5 wave move left in it before even consolidating. Tomorrow we can get a gap up. I do propose that we get a gap up tomorrow, and then we get some more consolidation. All right, looking at BITO. Now BITO, the reason why I want to check this one out on the lower time frames, why do I keep looking at this, is just kind of explain what I think is happening. And I do think this was a possible top here. This last wave was an expanding ending diagonal, possibly. Now it's a leading diagonal. So this move here, I know it looks really crunchy here, scrunched up, and it really expanded. You have a 3 wave move up for 1, down to 3 wave down to 2, and then a larger 3 down to 4, expanding, 5 expanding from there, and then you get a retracement for all that for a 1, 2 setup, and now we're looking at a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're just now moving on wave 3. So we have in Bitcoin really loves to have those extensions into wave 5s. So this thing could really start moving into those zones that I do have the point of control right here that I think we for sure get to. And then after that, it could be the 26 all the way up to 30 type areas that we were talking about earlier, where this starts expanding. And I think let's just check out VIX, and then we'll look at Tesla since we had an alert come out. Might as well look at it with you. And so what I think is happening with the VIX now is we had the gap up, we closed that gap, and we do have good support if we do want to have a move there. I knew that this really looked incomplete. Now this can be considered a corrective wave where you have an A, B, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like anything else, the 5 can really be relentless to the downside. And so if we do get past the 13 point, then I think we're going to try to close this gap down low here. So start to get into this gap, I think we'll be looking for some possibly even highs, maybe a higher low in VIX, but possibly, like I said, get close, near, or eke out a new high in the indices as well. So we have to watch the VIX as well, see if we get support from this breakout zone here. And then let's go over to Tesla. Just give a peek there. And it's a pretty long video, so we'll stop from there. We have our flag, possible channel flag breakout and back testing. I know we're a little bit underneath it, so it's giving us a hard time with price here, but we had sort of a real spring type action. We're breaking out from it, and so let's see what happens tomorrow to see if Tesla gets some follow through to the upside. On the downside, there's a downside possibility that this initial wave here is just getting a flat correction. So you have a possible impulse wave down and then an A, B, C correction. That's why it's given trouble right now. And so this is really a coin toss at this point, whether this continues to the downside and sees some lows here and kind of drags the market with it while everything else is so bullish. So if we start to break down, it looked like a fake break here, then we'll get out of Tesla. If it continues to the upside and kind of holds this flag type play here, then I believe we'll have just a back test and we start to move to higher retracements. So something to watch on Tesla. This is a great risk reward to the upside, in my opinion. So that's why I'm long there as well. And we talked about Google on last Friday. So that we're holding on to Google at this point. Two, don't expect a whole lot out of it right now. We already had our initial move. And if this is going to be some sort of flag or wedge, then we'll maybe possibly move lower. We could continue higher and then back test. Other than that, we'll consolidate a little bit and then break out of the wedge. But Google's set up in this spot where it can get new highs as well. It has this huge consolidation zone. It's an inverse head and shoulder setup, and we had the downtrend line here that we back tested, actually fake break with this uptrend line here. You see this, how this price action consolidated into a triangle, back tested a triangle, and now is pushing off of it. So this is one of our bullish plays as well. So if this keeps pushing up with NVIDIA and all these other big mega tech stock names, maybe the Qs just get that really, really deep retracement or eke out a new high, and SPY doesn't have to, but that's what we'll be looking for. So that's everything. Sorry this is so long. Great information out there, some great long plays, but we are still short in the long term. All right, thanks for joining us here, Options Center. Don't forget to like the video. Have a wonderful day.